Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Before we start our group discussion today, let's pray together. First of all, let us pray to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, who has given us blessings, not forgetting prayers and greetings to Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, his family and companions. May we all seek his intercession and receive guidance at the day of judgment. Amen. The Honorable Lecturer, Mr. Dr. Kahaldin SIP MHUM. First of all, let me introduce our group member. First is me, Wafia Ashwadullah, as the moderator, and she is Nurullah, and she is Shahadullah. We are from the 8th group to discuss about the 5th assignment. Today, we're gonna talk about the children and adults language acquisition. Alright, without any further ado, let's start our discussion by Mr. Ibrahim. Okay, we start for the question number 1. To the best of your knowledge, what do you know of language acquisition and language development? Do they refer to the same things or different? Explain your answer and position with research. This is really interesting thing. Okay. I'm gonna answer this question first. In my point of view, in my opinion, yes, they are different things because when we talk about language acquisition, we talk about how the children get their first language. When we talk language development, it's how the adult get their knowledge of language. This segment really show the difference about the language acquisition and language development in my point of view. What about you?
I think while language acquisition and language development are closely related, they are not the same thing, and they represent a different stage and aspects of the long life process of learning to understand and use a language. The distinction between them is important in fields such as linguistics, psychology, and education.
Okay, what about Shahadullah?
Humans have been during language science day will new children and language acquisition usually through to take place during the process of developing one's first language. Children learn to process speech and interact throughout the process of language development.
Okay, we are also have different. We also have the same things or the same point of view about this question. I have to add something like language acquisition is a statement that they have knowledge of speaking, listening, and reading, writing, which is they use the linguistic knowledge without knowing that linguistic knowledge. You know what I mean? Like they do to produce language and receive language, but this is a natural process. This is really relevant, different with the language development. Also, language development and language acquisition different with language acquisition and language learning, which is learning we have to study to gain the knowledge, and the language acquisition we are getting the knowledge of language by the environment and speaking or communicating in everyday or daily communication. Next, we move to the second question for this is, do you agree with saying that language acquisition and language development are psycholinguistic phenomena? Explain your answer or explain your position with the reasons. This is a very interesting question. We go first by Lulin.
Yes, I agree with saying that language acquisition and language development is psycholinguistic phenomena. So, as a student studying language, when you study language acquisition and language development, you delving into a psycholinguistic phenomenon. exploring psychological process and linguistic knowledge. Interactive projects and our remarkable language abilities. It's a fascinating file that offers insight into one of the most complex aspects of human cognition.
Yes, I agree with that. Okay. Language acquisition and language development is involved in the direction of cognitive process, which is our we try to memorize perception and also the reasoning. That's why this time I also agree with this. And what about your kind of view? Should I move back?
Yes, I agree because language development and acquisition involve a combination of mental factors with linguistic process in the mind of the person in question. They are in fact considered to be psycholinguistic phenomena.
Okay, like I said before, that we are connected with this is as phenomena of psycholinguistic because we involve the mental faculty, which is we have to memorize, we have to do the interpretation, and also we have to do the reasoning. While it is really related to psycholinguistic one. We move to the question number 3, this more interesting question. According to Phil J. 2004, children generally go through 5 stages of language acquisition, right? Do you agree with this theory? Explain your position with the reasons. We go first, Shaharani.
Yes, I agree because it is important to remember that some of its features have been improved and challenged by later studies.
Okay, what about you?
Yes, I would agree also with this files theory that children generally go through 5 stages of language movement acquisition. Each stage provides useful framework for understanding how language acquisition actually progresses.
Based on your answer, I agree with both of you because according to Phil J. 2004, those stages while children do the acquisition of language, they are really complete stage to express or to figure out how the children get the knowledge of language by acquisition in a really detail and what is their linguistic component involved in their process. And we move to the question number 4. What do you know of the 5 stages? Explain your answer by also describing what linguistic knowledge children store in mind in each of stage. So we have to explain in each of stage what linguistic knowledge children store in their mind. We start from me. Okay. The first is cawing stage. Cawing stage is when they are 0 to 6 months, which is actually it will be counted starting for 2 until 3 months. They are really counted as communicating by that age. Because before that, 0 to 1 or 3 months, they don't really communicate at all. They just like crying for no reason. But the 2 until 3 months of the age, they are starting to communicate by producing the vowel sounds like O and U and their combinations for linguistic knowledge. The second one is babbling stage at 6 and until 18 months. They are starting to produce linguistic knowledge by the starting with one syllable like ha, ba, and ma. In this stage, we reduplicated and varied the sound. And then the third one is one word or holoplastic stage in their age 9 until 18 months, which is they start to produce one word like mama, dada, but it cannot be like we interpret this word as proper to mama or dada because they can use this word for all of the pieces they saw. And then the fourth stage is 2-word stage. They start to combine the verb, the noun and the adjective, the subject and verb, and they start to combine them, but they still don't know what is the function of this word or what is the class of this word, but they know the meaning of this. And the example of this, like like mommy, busy, and etc. That is, they pronounce it like into one word once they are starting to talk. And then the fifth is multi-word. We talk about the telegraphic stage 24 until 30 months. In this stage, they are starting to including subject verb complement. For example, daddy like book, but it's not grammatically correct because it should be like daddy like books or daddy likes book. They do know the meaning, but they don't apply the grammar rules here. And then the last is beyond telegraphic stage. In this stage, they are in the 30 plus months of their age. They started to talk in a correct way and understandable, also acceptable. What do you think about this, Lumika?
I think because your explanation is so complex, so I will make it more simplified. The first stage is going stage. This from 0 to 6 months. In this stage, they usually start with vowel sounds like a, or crying. And the next stage is spelling stage, from 6 to 8 months, where they start to combine vowel and consonant sounds into syllables like ba, ma. And the next stage is one word or holophrastic stage. This stage when a child starts to speak their first single word, each representing a whole sentences. A baby makes like baby, that's mean baby. And the next stage is two-stage word. This stage they start from these sentences by combine two words without pause. A baby makes like man busy or man busy. And the next is multi-word or telegraphic stage. In this stage, their speech become more sentences like with a structure similar to adult sentence but in consist style. Example, child broken, daddy like book, and what her name. And the last is letter multi-stage word. They start forming more complex sentences like yes or no question and with a question.
Okay, I'm really get a new insightful from your explanation that the last stage they can read each question and also can build a question from their knowledge. What about your statement about this question? Shahad, what do you think?
Okay, I will just explain based on the stage. The first stage is the learning stage. In this stage of development, babies create a variety of sounds regardless of the language being spoken around them. Basic phonetic elements are contained in the stored language knowledge. Second stage is one word or whole phrase stage. Children begin to confine both ideas of concepts with just one word. They follow the rules as they score basic lexical items. Next to word stage, toddlers express more complicated ideas from the combination of two words. Basic sentence structures have been employed in linguistic knowledge which is called. Stage of telegraphic speech. Youngsters begin to create brief sentences by removing less important words like articles and propositions. The last stage, more speech stage. Children score a vast array of linguistic rules and nuances as they develop a more complex understanding of grammar, vocabulary, and communication.
Okay. Any other opinion about this, or any want to replay the answer, or Indus answer, or Shahada's answer?
We have a sample.
Okay.
Yes.
Because we have the same opinion, we move to the next question. The next question is, what do you know of prefabricated routines, pattern projection, and theoretical construction in adult language acquisition? Explain your answer and also give illustration on their relationship. Okay, we start from you. This is your turn.
The first is fabrication. mentioned that language learners memorize whole units. They are also known as a chromatic language or language chunk. For example, phrases like "How are you?" or "Nice to meet you" often learner has small units rather than individual words. These routines can help learners start using the new language more quickly when blending. And the next pattern projection. This refers to the ability of language learner to recognize and reproduce patterns in the language they are learning. For example, in English, learners might notice the past tense often formed by adding ed to the end of a verb. Recognizing these patterns can help them form the past tense of new verbs they encounter. And the last is creativity construction, which involves the ability to go beyond memorized phrases and patterns to create a new and original sentences. As a learner become more proficient, they start to combine words and phrases in a way to haven't necessarily heard before, showing a deeper understanding of the language, grammar, and syntax. The relationship among these three aspects is sequential and iterative. Learners often start with a prefabricated routines which provide them with a set useful phrases they can use in conversation. As they become more familiar with the language, they start to notice patterns in how words and phrases are combined. This pattern recognition would form the basis for creativity construction, where learners start to create their own sentences. However, even advanced learners and native speakers continue to use prefabricated routines as they are efficient way of conveying common ideas.
Okay. What do you think about this question, Shalini?
For prefabricated routines, these are set phrases or instructions that individuals learn and use in whole without always comprehending the understanding structure of grammar. Example, to indicate that something is important. Plus, picture someone saying it's a place of K. There is no breakdown of the individual words in this regularity. Production of patterns. Adults usually learn language by identifying and creating patterns. This involves comprehending grammatical constructions and applying them to various situations. Example, while someone learns the sentence structure, if, then, and uses to create a new sentence such as if it rains, will stay indoors. They are applying a learning pattern. Creativity constructions. This component is the ability to produce original and creative language expressions by moving beyond ingrained routines and patterns. It shows an increased understanding of the language and allows words and structures of communication. Example, a person that is creatively construction language can express a point, truth, or play, or a novel metaphor, practicing a more complex command of the language.
Okay, to sum up, I will give my own statement that where the breakage routines is when we are learn or when we are hearing something like language, another language, we know the meaning, like that is good. We know the meaning, but we don't know the technology about it, right? So we just try to memorize it. That is the breakage routine. So we always routine to hear that, but we don't know the technology behind it. The second one is the repetitive pattern. So we know that that is, and after that we have to add something. That is good. So that is the pattern. After that is, we have to add something. We can change book with pen. That is chair. That is table. So we don't know the syntax technology behind that, but we just play or apply the pattern. That's the prefabricated pattern. And then the next is creativity construction. The creativity creative meaning construction is we are trying to combine all of this knowledge to build another word or another phrases that have a new meaning. For example, like it is piece of cake, or I say I'm feeling bananas today, and it's like we are trying to creatively using the word to make another sentence or make another phrases that have meaning. But it's not like we have to translate one by one. What is banana? What is I'm feeling? It's not that way. I mean, like it is have they have their own way or their own meaning. Okay, we move to the next question. The question number 6. This is related to question number 5. Hanania and Grandman, 1977, conducted research showing the process of adult language acquisition. What do you know of the research, and what do you think about the research report if it is connected to your own experience as an L2 learner or second language learner? We are second language learner, right? So what is your opinion about the process of adult language acquisition by Hanania and Berman, 1977? Starting from Luminda, what is your opinion?
The research by Hanania and Berman was belonging to the knowledge study another native speaker of Arabic learning, English-speaking environment. The study provided insight into the early stage of learning English as a second language and the factor effective language development. The study found a striking similarities between the sequence of first language acquisition and that of adult second language learning, suggesting a similarity in adult and child learning processes. This research has contributed valuable insight to the field of second language acquisition.
And what about you, Sharanida?
The main elements of a creative process in language acquisition are prefabricated routines and patterns. Which of these two situations actually contributes or during the adult language acquisition process is the question at hand. The survey Hanania and Greenman can be consulted in order to clarify the response to this group.
Okay. My answer for the 6th question is according to Hanania and Grandman, 1777. They are doing a research that is really interesting research. The subject is Fatma. Fatma is an Arabian girl. She have to go abroad and study there, and then have to speak English. But the fact or the situation is Fatma cannot speak English. So Fatma trying to learn English by imitating. So she heard the pattern, she heard the word like habitual, like every day. So she tried to memorize all of the utterances and their meaning, but she still cannot get the understanding because she had no syntactical knowledge. But instead of give up, she is trying to use the pattern and then trying to apply the pattern. So she is ended up can speak English using this prefabricated routine and prefabricated pattern, and also create a creative language. So creative language is when we can create a frasa that is have another meaning. For example, like a piece of cake, I feel bananas today. In this sentence, we cannot translate it one by one or word per word because it have another meaning. We have to completely translate it so we can get the meaning of it. And then to sum up, the routines make it easier for us to acquire patterns in language. And patterns make it easier for us to form a language more creatively and more productively. And routine patterns will be very useful for building social relationship with others. They're basically inputs for the creative construction stage or process. And we move to the next question. The question number 7, LER 1997 emphasizes that the computational model explains 3 stages that occur in human mind where acquiring language. What do you know of the model? Explain your answer in detail and support with example. We start from Shahara Nimida. What is your opinion about this question?
In the first stage, adults phrase language abilities while building inputs that are then stored in short-term memory. In psycholinguistics, this language input is referred to as intake. In the second stage, understanding that was first kept in short-term memory will change into knowledge of a second language, which is then defined in long-term memory. In the third stage, capacity to speak a second language is always actively used to produce spoken outputs such as speech which express while verbal communication. We can say that the ideas of routine, patterns, and creative construction process are closely related to each other when they are connected to these 3 stages of language.
Alright, what do you think about this question?
I think there is a possibility. Alice advises that the computational model explains 3 stages that occur in the human mind when acquiring language. Namely, the first stage, adults learn and obtain certain language items as inputs, which are then stored in the short-term memory. This language inputs of psycholinguistics is called intake. The second stage, the intake storage in the short-term memory will then turn into second language knowledge, which is then stored in long-term memory. And the next stage is the knowledge of the second language is finally used actively to produce spoken outputs in the form of speech expressed when involved in verbal communication. The model provides a simplified view of the complex process of language acquisition. It highlights the progression from initial export of language or intake through the internationalization of the language rules or storage to active of the language in the communication or output. It's important to note that it's a continuous and iterative process with each stage leading into forming the others. However, the specifics of the stage can vary depending on the learner, individual experience and learning constraints.
Alright, my point of view about question number 7, according to her, I can conclude that there are 3 stages of acquiring language. That is first intake, predicative routine, that is involved the predicative routine. Why? Because we have to gather information in short-term memory. And the second one is second language knowledge. When we are trying to gather all the information we have in long-term, short-term memory to long-term memory, which is involve the predicative pattern, and then the last is how to pronounce it. So produce the language. This is the third stage or the last stage of acquiring language, according to her. And then, what do you think about my answer, your answer, and your answer? Do you have another opinion or any suggestion or another? No?
I have no idea.
Okay, you guys.
Have some.
Okay, you guys. Okay, we have the same point of view. We have the same opinion about this one, and we move to the last question. According to Question as 1982, adults will complete 5 stages. So there are 5 stages of language development in the process of acquiring second language. What do you know of the 5 stages, and what do you think about the stages if they are connected to your own experience as a second language learner? We start for Ida.
According to her, adults will complete 5 stages development in the process of acquiring a second language. These 5 stages can be explained. The first is reproduction stage. The stage is initial phase of second language acquisition for adults, often referred to as the silent or receptive period. In this stage, learners focus on memorizing new words and practicing pronunciation. They usually engage in self-taught due to their limited linguistic knowledge. Some learners may start speaking practice language often due to a limited vocabulary and lack of experience in using a new word. This stage typically lasts around 3 to 6 months. The next stage is early production. The early production stage in the second of phases of adult language acquisition. In this stage, learners start to speak using 1 or 2 words and can form short, sometimes ungrammatical phrases and expressions. They might make errors in pronunciation, word choice, and sentence structure. And the next stage is speech emergencies. In their stage of second language acquisition, learners have a vocabulary of around 3,000 words. They effectively use the words to communicate, forming short phrases and correct and errors to come on. Despite this, learners show the progress in their comprehension abilities over time. Additionally, they start to actively read and write in the second language. And the next stage is immediate fluency stage. In the immediate fluency stage of second language acquisition, learners after about a year of learning have memorized and can use approximately 6,000 words. They can communicate in both spoken and written from using complex sentence structure. Despite making more errors due to complexity of the sentence, they can express their thoughts and opinions during verbal interactions. And the last stage, advanced fluency stage. These learners have fully mastered the language, able to form complex sentences almost like native speaker. They can converse, discuss, and deliver speech effectively. It usually takes about 2 years or more to reach to this level. Most sentences format are grammatical correct, and grammatical deviation are considered mistakes, not errors, as a learner can immediately correct them. These mistakes are usually due to mental factors like fatigue or sleep of the tongue, not lack of linguistic knowledge.
Okay, it is my turn to answer. Since you already explained it really briefly and complete explanation, I will give like a simple way to describe this one. The first is reproduction stage. This reproduction stage, we are trying to memorize and practice pronunciation by ourselves. That's why this process, I can say that personal process that we just like memorizing and practice pronunciation that is conducted to phonological and morphological knowledge. And the second one is early production, which is we can using 1 or 2 words and then simple phrases, short phrases, but it is still ungrammatically. So yeah, it still have a false part. And then the third is speech emergence stage. We can read, we can write, and we do the active communication, but still found error. So it's not, it's still imperfect. But the next is for intermediate fluency stage, which means like we can speak more fluently than before, and then communicate better to using English. We can communicate our opinion, we can communicate our argument briefly, but still, when we are making something like wrong word or like inappropriate, appropriate word, it's still because we lack of knowledge. Okay, the last is advanced fluency stage, or we can say that it is almost same as the native speaker. They are master. Even when they are having mistake or doing some mistakes, it's just because slip of tongue, like you said before. It's just because they are nervous and sticky. It's not because they are lack of knowledge. They know the knowledge, and then the difference between the intermediate level, like they can immediately correct what is the wrong one. That's why they are master, like almost same as native speaker. And what do you think about this question, Shahar?
The first stage of production, adults that wish to begin learning a second language must first go through the production stage. During this phase, second language learners typically spend their time studying the vocabulary and honing their pronunciation methods. Initial stage of production, the early production stage is the second period and adult language acquisition process. At this stage, L2 learners can speak slowly in one or two words, in addition to ensure phrases and expressions that are sometimes formed grammatically. Stage of speech emergence. By the time they reach this level, L2 learners have mastered or memorized about 3,000 words. They have also employed these words to form short phrases, sentences, and to ask questions. The stage of intermediate fluency, when second language learners have been learning for a period of time, they process on the intermediate fluency stage of the process of learning a language. They have been able to learn and apply roughly 6,000 words in that time. With so many words stored in memory, learners can use complicated sentences to demonstrate their communication skills in both spoken and written form. The last stage of advanced fluency. At this stage, the student's ability in the second language is big, allowing these individuals to put together an extensive array of complex sentences that are almost as effective as that of native speakers.
Okay, alright. I think our answer is similar. I will add some to sum up our process discussion. This is a good process of discussion that we are gaining a lot of insights, new knowledge of our opinion, share our opinion about the language acquisition for children and adults. That is really different, right? They have different aspects, different perspective about how they gather the language and then acquiring language. Okay, that's all for our group. We are from group 3. Before we close our discussion, let's say Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah. That's all from us. Thank you so much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.